When I turned 65, I figured the creaks in my knees or the gray in my beard would be the things I'd notice most. But what surprised me was my heart. Not just the beating, it still thumps along just fine most days, but the way it changed, slower, heavier, like it was carrying not just blood, but memories. At my age, friends start disappearing, and those little flutters in the chest, they're no longer harmless. In today's talk, I want to share with you what really happens to your heart after 65. Not the medical textbook version, the real version. The one you feel when you're walking alone in the park, when you're trying to sleep and the silence is just a little too loud. And more importantly, what you can do, naturally protect it. Because I've met men in their 70s who are climbing mountains, and others who can barely climb stairs. The difference isn't luck, it's wisdom. Stay with me, this is Elderly Reflections, where we don't chase youth, we honor the journey, with truth, with stories, and with heart. Now let me walk you through 5 things I've learned. Things every senior should know about what happens to your heart after 65. I don't say this to scare anyone. I say it because I've lived it. I've seen it in my friends, my brothers, and even in myself. This isn't just senior health. It's elderly wisdom. It's what we talk about when we sit down for coffee and realize we're not the same men or women we were 20 years ago. First change. Your heart gets stiff, not cold, stiff. The walls of your heart, the muscles, they start losing their flexibility. When we were younger, our heart would fill up with blood and pump it out with ease, like a sponge soaking up and squeezing out water. But after 65, that sponge hardens. The heart doesn't feel as well, and it can't pump as strongly. That's why you might feel short of breath doing things that used to be easy, like climbing stairs or even bending down to tie your shoes. I had a friend, Eleanor, she's 71, lives up in Washington, retired school teacher. She said to me one day, "Frank, I get winded just bringing in the groceries." That never used to happen. No surgery needed, but she had to change her lifestyle. So she started walking every morning, just around the block. She added leafy greens to her meals, took a little magnesium, and started doing deep breathing exercises. After 6 months, she said, "I feel like I got 10 years back." And that's what we need to understand. It's not about reversing age. It's about giving our body what it needs now, not what it needed at 30. Second, the arteries start clogging. That's right, years of bacon, butter, stress, and skipping checkups start showing up. Plaque builds up in the blood vessels, narrowing the paths that feed your heart. The pressure rises, the heart works harder, and eventually something gives. I remember Harold. He's an old buddy from my days working in the steel industry in Pittsburgh. He was a big guy, proud, never missed a day of work in 30 years, but at 69 he had a scare. He was mowing the lawn when he felt this pressure, like an elephant sitting on his chest. He sat down, called his wife, and by the time the ambulance got there, they found a 90% blockage in one of his coronary arteries. After the stent procedure, he told me, "I thought I was too tough for heart trouble. Turns out, I was just too stubborn to listen." Now he eats oatmeal every morning, swapped his red meat for salmon, and even joined a local walking group. Sometimes strength isn't in ignoring the signs. It's in listening to them. Third change, your heartbeat can go haywire, literally. After 65, the electrical system in your heart starts misfiring. Some folks feel a flutter, others feel like their heart's racing for no reason. That's called atrial fibrillation, and it's more dangerous than people think. It can cause strokes, blood clots, even heart failure if left unchecked. I met Ann last summer. Widow lives in Boston. She's 75 but full of fire, still volunteers at the local library. She said her smartwatch told her heart rate was jumping all over the place. She thought it was just anxiety, but her doctor caught AFib. They put her on meds, but she also changed her habits. She cut out caffeine, started doing Tai Chi, and added more potassium to her diet. Her quote still sticks with me. She said, "I thought aging meant falling apart. Turns out, it means paying closer attention." Smart woman, sometimes technology can be a blessing when it shows us what we wouldn't otherwise feel. Fourth, your recovery slows down. I'm talking about heart rate recovery. Back in the day, we could run, lift, chase the kids, and bounce back after a 10-minute rest. But after 65, the heart doesn't snap back like it used to. If your heart rate stays high long after activity, that's a sign your cardiovascular system is under stress. Tony's the perfect example. He's 68, retired mailman down in Florida. Still walks every morning. But he noticed after his usual 2-mile loop, his heart kept pounding even 20 minutes later. He went in for a checkup, and they caught the early stages of heart failure. Not enough to knock him down, but enough to wake him up. Now he goes interval walking, walk 3 minutes, rest 1. He monitors his pulse, hydrates more, and gets regular checkups. When I talked to him last, he said, "I don't walk fast anymore. I walk wise." That right there is a life lesson from the elderly. Wisdom beats speed. And I think this is the most overlooked. Your emotional heart takes a beating too. I'm not talking about romance. I'm talking about loneliness, regret, grief. All that gets heavier with age. And yes, it affects your physical heart. Science has proven that chronic stress, sadness, even isolation can increase your risk of heart disease. I knew Raymond, a Navy vet, 82, who lost his wife a couple years back. After she passed, he stopped cooking, stopped talking, stopped moving. Within months, he was hospitalized for heart failure. The doctors fixed what they could, but the real healing didn't start until he joined a local men's coffee group. Nothing fancy, just older guys sharing stories, drinking weak coffee and listening to each other. After a few months, he told me, "What saved me wasn't medicine, it was being seen." That's something I carry with me every day. We don't just need pills, we need people. So those are the 5. 1. Your heart stiffens. 2. Your arteries clog. 3. Your rhythm gets shaky. 4. Your recovery slows down. And 5. Your emotional weight increases. But the good news? Every one of those can be managed, improved, sometimes even reversed if we pay attention early. If we choose wisdom over pride, community over isolation, and habits over excuses. So now that we've talked about what happens to the heart after 65, the stiffening, the clogging, the fluttering, the slow recovery, and the emotional weight, let's talk about what we can actually do about it. Naturally, no gimmicks, no fads. Just good old-fashioned daily habits that work. And I'm gonna back up each one with a real story, because around here, we don't talk theory, we talk experience. First up, daily walking. It sounds simple, but don't underestimate it. A brisk 20-minute walk every day can lower blood pressure, strengthen your heart, and improve circulation. It helps your mood, your sleep, and even your memory. Walking is the underrated medicine we have. I knew a man named George, who's 70, lives just outside Chicago. Used to work construction. After retirement, he gained weight, got depressed, and developed high blood pressure. The doctor told him, start walking or start pills. So George started walking, at first just to the mailbox, then to the end of the street, then the park. Now he walks every morning with his neighbor Sam, and he says, "I walk for my heart, but I stay for the company." In his last checkup, his blood pressure was better than it had been in 10 years. That's the thing about movement, isn't just physical, it's mental, it gives your body purpose. And that's something every senior deserves. Second, eating heart-smart foods. That means more greens, more healthy fats, less processed junk. Leafy greens, olive oil, nuts, berries, salmon. These things are gold for your arteries. They reduce inflammation and feed the body the right kind of fuel. I remember Barbara, 78, lives in Northern California. She grew up in a time when bacon and butter were breakfast staples. But after her brother died from a heart attack, she decided to change. She took a Mediterranean cooking class for seniors. Started eating lentils, avocado, olive oil. She even learned how to make her own hummus. And you know what she told me? She said, "Frank, I never thought food could make me feel this young." Her cholesterol dropped. Her skin looked brighter. She had more energy. That's elderly motivation right there. When you see the people around you suffer, you either shut down or wake up. Barbara chose to wake up with a salad fork in her hand. Third habit, deep breathing and stress control. After 65, managing stress is just as important as managing sugar or salt. Chronic stress can tighten the arteries, raise your blood pressure, and cause your heart to beat irregularly. I met Luis, a retired musician from Miami. He used to deal with anxiety, especially at night. Racing thoughts, chest tightness, all of it. Then he joined a breathing class at his community center. Simple stuff. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4. He practiced every morning. After a month, he said, "I sleep deeper now, and I don't panic every time I feel my heart skip." Sometimes we think we need more doctors when really, we just need a little calm. Peace, my friend, is a powerful form of protection. Fourth, social connection. This one's personal for me. A lonely heart isn't just sad, it's at risk. Studies have shown that seniors who maintain social ties live longer and have healthier hearts. But this doesn't mean you need 100 friends. You need a few real ones. People who check on you, who laugh with you, who remind you you're still alive. Let me tell you about John and Miriam. They're both in their 80s, met at a local senior book club in Vermont. Neither was looking for love, but they found companionship. They walked together, cooked together, and played cards twice a week. John once said, "Miriam keeps my heart beating in every sense of the word." That kind of bond, it doesn't just fill the day, it fills the soul. And that's something no medication can replace. Fifth and final habit, getting good sleep. Your heart needs rest to repair. Poor sleep is linked to high blood pressure, arrhythmia, and heart failure. But as we age, sleep gets trickier. That's why routine is key. Go to bed and wake up the same time every day. Avoid caffeine in the evening. Make the bedroom a sanctuary. Cool, quiet, dark. I knew Darlene, 74, from rural Kentucky. She used to watch TV in bed, fall asleep with the light on, and wonder why she felt exhausted all day. Her cardiologist asked her one question: "Do you protect your sleep the way you protect your pills?" That hit home. She stopped watching TV at night, took up evening journaling, and now sleeps 7 hours straight. "It's like my heart is finally resting too," she told me. And that's the truth. Healing happens in the stillness. Don't rob your heart of. So there you have it. 5 ways to protect your heart naturally. Walk every day, eat from the earth, breathe deeper, stay connected, and sleep like it matters. Because it does. These are not just health tips. They're life lessons from the elderly, shared with you so you don't have to learn the hard way. Because in the end, a strong heart isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about having the strength to keep showing up to your family, to your friends, and most importantly, to yourself. Now, you've heard the science, you've heard the habits, but let me tell you something, friend. None of that means much if it doesn't come from the inside. A man or a woman only changes when something wakes them up. For most of us, it's not the diagnosis. It's what comes after. That moment when you look in the mirror and realize, if I don't change now, I might not get another chance. That's where true transformation begins. That's where heart protection becomes more than a checklist. It becomes a promise. And I want to share a few of those moments with you now. There was a man named Dennis, lived in Michigan, 73 years old, worked with machines all his life, hands like iron, didn't trust doctors much, but one night he collapsed in the garage. His heart had gone into arrhythmia. He told me later, laying on that cold concrete, "I wasn't scared of dying. I was scared of dying before I got to say what mattered." That was his turning point. Not just the hospital stay, it was the fact that he couldn't remember the last time he told his son he was proud of him. After he recovered, he changed everything. He started doing yoga. Yeah, Big Dennis doing yoga in a church basement. He started cooking real food, stopped smoking cigars, and most of all, he started speaking, calling old friends, apologizing, laughing again. "Turns out my heart didn't just need fixing," he said. "It needed softening." Then there was Grace. She's 80 now, lives in Arizona. Had always taken care of everyone else, her husband, her kids, her church. But when she started having chest pains, she kept it to herself. Didn't want to bother anyone, she said. By the time she got to the ER, she was on the edge of a full-blown heart attack. They saved her. But what saved her spirit was the wake-up call that it was time to take care of herself. She joined a women's wellness group, started journaling, meditated in the mornings. She told me, "I realized I wasn't selfish for putting myself first. I was overdue." And now she glows. Her heart, her eyes, even her laugh sounds different. She's not living out her years. She's living them up. And let me tell you about Roger. Vietnam vet, tough as they come. He had a bypass surgery at 69. While he was recovering, he told me he kept hearing this voice in his head, saying, "You don't get another do-over, buddy." He was alone most days. No close family. So after surgery, he did something that surprised everyone. He got a rescue dog. A mutt named Baxter, he said. That dog gave me a reason to get up every morning. He started walking again, smiling again, even joined a community garden. "My heart still got scars," he said, "but it also found a reason to beat." And then there's me. I won't pretend I've done everything right. I've had my share of bacon and bourbon. I've skipped appointments, ignored warnings. But a few years ago, I felt something. Not pain, just a weight, a tiredness that didn't make sense. I went in, got checked, nothing dramatic, but enough to make me think. I started walking more, breathing deeper, calling my daughter more. Started this little routine where every Sunday, I write one note to someone I care about. Nothing fancy, just a sentence or two. But it's funny, since I started doing that, I sleep better, laugh easier, and my heart, well, it feels lighter. Not younger, just lighter. And that's enough. See, what I've learned, and what I hope you hear, is that protecting your heart isn't just about avoiding death. It's about creating life. A life that feels like yours. A life with less noise and more meaning. And it starts not with a prescription, but with a pause. A moment to say, "Okay, Maybe it's time I did things differently. That moment is powerful. That moment, my friend, might just save your life. So if you've stayed with me this far, I want to thank you. Really. Because conversations like this, they're not easy, but they're needed. What happens to your heart after 65 isn't just biology. It's a story. A story of everything you've carried, everything you've loved, and everything you still have left to give. The truth is, your heart's been with you through every season. Every heartbreak, every triumph, and it deserves to be protected. Not just with pills or procedures, but with kindness, with care, with courage. I hope something in today's elderly reflections gave you insight, or maybe even inspiration. If it did, would you leave a comment? Tell me, where are you watching from? Because this channel, this space, it's not just about senior health. It's about community, it's about elderly wisdom, and it's about reminding every senior out there, your story still matters. If this spoke to you, go ahead, tap like, hit subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Because protecting the heart starts with opening it.